I spent hours hunting down the craziest roads and bridges humans have ever dared to cross. Look down at your tires. Right now, they are battling death, because the roads you're about to see were never meant to be driven, clinging to cliffs, floating above abysses, and twisting through mountains where one mistake means the end. Welcome to Untamed Globe. Today, we cross the most dangerous roads and bridges on Earth. One Husini hanging bridge. The wind whistles through rusted cables as the Husini hanging bridge stretches across the icy Hunza River in northern Pakistan. From a distance, it looks almost unreal. A narrow chain of wooden planks suspended between two cliffs in the rugged Karakoram landscape. But once you step onto it, the illusion quickly fades. The planks beneath your feet are uneven and widely spaced. Through the gaps, the turquoise water rushes far below, carving its way through glacial rock. With every step, the bridge begins to sway. Gently at first, then with a rhythm that makes you grip the steel cables a little tighter. For the villagers nearby, this crossing is part of daily life. Children, farmers, and travelers all use it to move between the valley's isolated settlements. It makes sense on paper, but my gut is screaming, this is a terrible idea. 2. Jang Jaj Glass Bridge, China. You've probably watched one or two YouTube clips like this before. A guy clinging to the railing in pure horror, or crouched on the glass ground, visibly shaking. Right next to him, his friends are laughing, filming everything on their phones. What happened? Why is he so terrified? Don't worry, nothing bad happened. He's just afraid of heights. Now imagine walking more than 1,300 feet above a canyon, while you can clearly see the drop beneath your feet through the glass. Your legs start trembling on their own, and you suddenly can't bring yourself to take another step, just like the man in the video. That's what makes the Jang Jaj Grand Canyon Glass Bridge so fascinating. It's one of the longest and highest glass-bottom bridges in the world, and it can rattle you in an instant. For safety reasons, the bridge limits entry to up to 800 people at a time and about 8,000 visitors per day, so it's best to book your ticket at least 3 days in advance. Three, Bach Long Glass Bridge, Vietnam. This is one of Vietnam's most distinctive modern landmarks, built to feel less like a walkway and more like a dare suspended in the mountains. Crafted with advanced construction methods and ultra-durable tempered glass, the bridge is designed to hold firm even when your instincts insist it should not. The real shock is the transparency. The moment you step onto the glass, the entire landscape opens beneath you. You can trace the forested ridgelines in every direction, then look straight down into a deep, vertical void that makes your knees tighten without permission. It is that strange mix of excitement and unease. Beauty and danger that keeps people moving one careful step at a time. When night falls, integrated LED lighting turns the bridge into a glowing ribbon along the cliffside, adding a surreal, almost cinematic edge to the experience. If you love adrenaline and new challenges, this is the kind of place that quietly asks you to prove it. Four, Storseisundet Bridge, Norway. The road to nowhere. We crossed a famous bridge on the Atlantic Road. The Storseisundet Bridge is the most prominent and longest of the 8 bridges that make up the Atlantic Road. A scenic route that hugs the Norwegian coastline. The bridge's unique cantilever structure creates the optical illusion of the road disappearing or leading to nowhere, making it a popular subject for photographers and tourists. Up close, it feels even stranger. Crosswinds push at the car, waves slam the rocks below, and for a brief moment, your eyes cannot find where the road goes next. I recommend going on a clear day with light wind and avoiding storms, because low visibility and strong gusts can make this short crossing feel far more intense. D915, Bayburt Road, Turkey. If ever there was an exhilarating road trip, Turkey's state road The D915 is it. In total, it is 179 kilometers, or 111 miles, crossing the Pontic Mountains in 29 hairpin bends. The most precarious section is the 66 miles that comprise shockingly tight switchbacks known as the Deribasi turns. In a snake-like manner, the bends climb up Mount Saganli in 13 undeniably narrow hairpins and steep gradients that sometimes reach 17%. It was built in 1916 when the Russians captured the coastal city of Trabzon. They wanted a road to connect the north to the south of northeastern Turkey. Rather than get their hands dirty, they rounded up locals and forced them to carve mountainside gravel roads by hand. They did not bother to put up any signs or guardrails, even with sheer drops. 6. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. What makes this road terrifying is what it does not have. No guardrails, no shoulder, no second chance. In places, the track tightens to barely 3 meters, and the cliff edge sits so close it feels like it is touching your tire. Fog can drop in fast, turning the next bend into a blank screen. Rain turns dust into slick mud. And small waterfalls spill straight across the road like moving hazards. Loose rock is everywhere, and the mountain decides when it wants to fall. For years, this route carried heavy traffic through conditions it could not forgive. In its worst era, people spoke of hundreds of deaths each year, not from drama, but from simple physics. Seven, Ferry Meadows Road, Pakistan. This unpaved track leads into a high mountain valley that looks almost too peaceful to be real, but the drive to reach it is pure peril. Narrow and stripped of any guardrails, the sheer cliffs and treacherous terrain make it a lethal route for even the bravest drivers. Extraordinary caution is mandatory. Reducing speed is the only way to ensure survival for everyone on board. It is strongly advised that only seasoned experts take the wheel, ideally behind the power of a 4x4 vehicle, while the view of Fairy Meadows is absolutely breathtaking. A reward worth the gut-wrenching journey, one must drive with total responsibility. Obeying the rules of the road is vital to preventing catastrophe. In impossible places like this, safety is not just a priority. It is the only thing standing between you and the abyss. Nine, Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand. A narrow road slices through the dramatic high country of Otago, clinging to cliffs that fall sharply toward the rushing Shotover River below. The descent feels committed from the very first turns. Gravel shifts under the tires, rock walls crowd the inside edge, and the canyon opens wide on the other side, with nothing but air between the road and the river. Names like Hell's Gate and Heaven's Gate mark sections of the route. Reminders of the days when prospectors pushed deep into this canyon during the gold rush. Today the scenery is breathtaking, but the road still demands the same patience and respect it did more than a century ago. Karnali Highway, Nepal. Completed in 2007, this route follows the rugged slopes above the Karnali River, winding through one of the least developed parts of the country. Despite being partly paved, large sections remain gravel or damaged asphalt, where dust, potholes, and loose stones turn every journey into a slow and uneven ride. The lane can shrink to a narrow strip carved into the mountainside, bordered by steep cliffs and vulnerable slopes prone to landslides. Boulders sometimes scatter across the road, and sudden flooding can wash through low sections after heavy rain. Local drivers also share the route with wandering livestock, adding another unpredictable hazard. Because of the high number of fatal accidents, authorities have even banned nighttime driving here. The safest approach is simple. Travel in daylight, keep speeds low, and expect the mountain to set the rules of the journey. Trift Suspension Bridge. High in the Swiss Alps, a narrow suspension bridge stretches across a deep glacial valley linking two rocky ridges above the icy waters of Trift Sea. The structure spans roughly 170 meters, supported by steel cables anchored into the mountainside. From a distance, it looks delicate, almost like a thin line suspended in the open air. The moment you step onto the metal walkway, the environment begins to make itself known. Cold wind funnels through the valley, and the bridge answers with a slow, rhythmic sway. Langkawi Skybridge, Malaysia. This one does not run straight. It curves, and that curve is the psychological trick. Suspended high above the rainforest and held by a single main support, the walkway feels like it is floating more than standing. You cannot see the full path at once, so you keep walking into the bend, and the ground seems to drift sideways beneath you. Far below, the canopy looks soft, almost harmless, until you remember the distance. On clear days, eagles circle on the thermals, and the bridge becomes a front-row seat to the sky. I recommend taking it slowly through the curve, pausing at the wider platforms, and avoiding the busiest hours, because crowds add vibration, and vibration is what turns confidence into hesitation. Iya Valley Vine Bridge, Japan. In the remote mountains of Shikoku, a fragile-looking bridge woven from thick mountain vines stretches across the Iya River. These vine suspension bridges, known locally as Kazurabashi, were once the main way people crossed the valley, long before modern roads reached the region. Their exact origin remains uncertain, but local legends offer two possibilities. Some believe the first bridges were raised by Kobo Daishi, the Buddhist monk who founded the Shingon sect. Others say they were built by defeated Heike warriors who fled into the valley after the Genpei War in the 12th century. According to the story, the bridges could be cut quickly in times of danger, preventing enemies from reaching their hidden refuge. (14) Royal Gorge Bridge, United States, spanning a massive canyon in Colorado. This suspension bridge crosses high above the Arkansas River, linking the cliffs of Royal Gorge with a slender ribbon of roadway. When it first opened in the early 20th century, it held the title of the highest bridge in the world, suspended more than 300 meters above the river below. The very first idea for a bridge appeared around 1900. A man walking along the railroad tracks at the bottom of the gorge had been hearing stories about the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge. Looking up at the towering canyon walls, he imagined that if a bridge like that were built across this gap, it would become the highest bridge on Earth. He returned to Canyon City and sketched his vision. The drawing was displayed in the window of his cousin's grocery store, where locals gathered to see it. Soon, the sketch was reproduced on postcards that began circulating in the early 1900s, turning a simple idea into a bold engineering dream. (15) Crishuachaca Bridge, Peru. High in the Andes, a narrow rope bridge stretches across a deep canyon where the Apurimac River cuts through the mountains. The structure follows an ancient Inca tradition. Instead of steel or concrete, it is made entirely from thick bundles of ichu grass, braided together into massive ropes. The bridge moves with every step. The floor is woven from smaller strands, and through the gaps, you can see the river rushing far below. Crossing it feels less like walking on a structure and more like balancing on something alive. What makes this place remarkable is not just the bridge itself. Every year, nearby communities gather for a traditional ceremony. The old bridge is cut down, and a completely new one is braided by hand. The process has continued for centuries, preserving a living piece of Andean engineering. Guoliang Tunnel Road, China. In the Taihang Mountains, a narrow road runs directly through a vertical cliff. It was not built by large construction companies or heavy machines. In the early 1970s, villagers living above the canyon decided to carve their own passage through the rock. Using simple tools, they slowly cut a tunnel into the mountainside. The road that emerged is both impressive and unsettling. Large openings are carved along the outer wall, letting daylight into the tunnel. These rough windows also expose the valley far below. Drivers can see straight out to the cliffs and the open air beyond. Inside, the passage remains tight and uneven. Light shifts between bright openings and darker sections of rock, turning every drive through the tunnel into a careful and unforgettable journey. 17. Millau Viaduct, France. 7 slender towers rise from the Tarn Valley, lifting a bridge so high that its tallest pylons stand even higher than the Eiffel Tower. From a distance, the structure looks impossibly light, like a thin white line stretched across the sky. The deck glides between the peaks of the pylons while the valley drops hundreds of meters below. Drivers approaching the span often notice something unusual. As the road climbs onto the bridge, the landscape slowly disappears beneath the wheels. On certain mornings, low clouds gather in the valley, and vehicles seem to move through a layer of mist suspended between mountain ridges. The structure itself remains elegant and minimal, a long ribbon of concrete and steel suspended above the countryside. Eshima Ohashi Bridge, Japan. From the driver's seat, the road ahead begins to rise until the horizon almost vanishes behind the hood of the car. The slope becomes so steep that the first instinct is to wonder whether the road truly continues on the other side. For a moment, it feels less like a bridge and more like the start of a roller coaster. The structure connects the cities of Matsue and Sakai Minato, allowing large ships to pass beneath without interruption. To achieve that clearance, the roadway climbs sharply before dropping again on the opposite side. Photographs taken from certain angles exaggerate the incline, making the bridge appear nearly vertical. In reality, the grade is manageable, but the visual effect is powerful. Approaching the crest, the sky fills the windshield, and for a brief second, the road ahead seems to disappear entirely before revealing the descent beyond. Stelvio Pass, Italy. In the Italian Alps, a road climbs toward the sky through a relentless sequence of bends known around the world by one number, 48 hairpin turns. Each switchback folds sharply against the mountainside, stacking the road like a zigzag carved into bare rock. From above, the pattern looks almost unreal. A geometric ladder climbing toward the high alpine plateau. Drivers rarely move fast here. Every corner demands patience, careful steering, and constant attention to what may appear from the opposite direction. Those who have experienced the majestic Stelvio Pass once often hope to return, and those who haven't yet experienced this legendary place should definitely add it to their to-drive list. Los Caracoles Pass, Chile to Argentina. The name Los Caracoles, meaning the snails, comes from these tight curves that climb the steep slope in quick succession. From the valley floor, the switchbacks appear stacked one above another, tracing a precise path toward the high pass. Beyond the dramatic shape, this road is also one of the main transport routes linking Chile and Argentina, connecting the cities of Santiago and Mendoza. Container trucks move through the bends almost constantly, slowly climbing the mountainside as international cargo crosses the Andes. The pass rises to roughly 3,200 meters above sea level. At this altitude, the air becomes noticeably thin. Heavy trucks often struggle on the ascent, engines pushing hard as they climb the endless curves. On the descent, the challenge reverses, with brakes heating up, as vehicles carefully control their speed through the long sequence of switchbacks. Dalton Highway, Alaska. This isolated route was originally built to support the construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, linking the oil fields of Prudhoe Bay with the southern parts of the state. Much of the highway remains gravel, and long sections run through landscapes where there are no towns, no fuel stations, and often no phone signal for hundreds of kilometers. The environment itself becomes the main challenge. In winter, the road turns into a ribbon of packed ice and blowing snow, while in summer, trucks kick up dense clouds of dust that reduce visibility. Massive freight trucks dominate the highway, carrying supplies to remote Arctic facilities. Encounters with wildlife are also common. From wandering caribou herds to massive moose that can suddenly appear along the roadside in the endless silence of Alaska's north. Passage du Gois, France. This narrow causeway connects the mainland to the island of Noirmoutier. At low tide, the road emerges from the ocean floor, revealing a flat stretch of pavement surrounded by tidal flats and shallow water. But the crossing exists only for a short window of time. When the tide returns, the sea slowly swallows the roadway again, covering it completely beneath the water. Drivers must carefully follow tide schedules. Before attempting the journey, because the rising ocean moves quickly across the flat landscape. Tall rescue towers stand along the route for those who fail to leave the road before the tide comes back in. 23. Sani Pass, Lesotho. This mountain track rises from the green valleys below and climbs straight into the highlands above the clouds. Loose gravel, sharp bends, and slopes so steep that ordinary vehicles simply cannot make the climb. Some sections rise at gradients close to 1 in 3, forcing engines to roar and tires to fight for grip on the rocky surface. That is why only 4x4 vehicles are allowed to attempt the pass. Higher and higher, the road climbs into the Drakensberg Mountains until it finally reaches the border post perched above the clouds. And just beyond it sits something unexpected. The highest pub in Africa, standing alone at the top of the pass. Kolyma Highway, Russia. It is a 2,000-kilometer corridor cutting across one of the coldest inhabited regions on Earth. In winter, temperatures fall below minus 50 degrees Celsius. Engines freeze. Diesel turns thick. And if you stop for too long, your vehicle may never start again. Truck drivers often leave their engines running even during short breaks. But the true weight of this highway lies beneath the asphalt. Large sections were built by prisoners sent to labor camps during the Soviet era. In frozen permafrost, digging graves was nearly impossible. So many of those who died during construction were buried directly beneath the road. That is why people still call it the Road of Bones. 25. Tianmen Mountain Road, China. Drivers often call it the road to heaven. The road climbs the mountainside through 99 tight bends, each turn stacked sharply against the cliffs. From the valley floor, the switchbacks look almost unreal, forming a long white ribbon that winds upward toward the clouds. In a relatively short distance, the route gains nearly 1,000 meters of elevation. Buses and cars move slowly through the corners, while engine sounds echo against the rock walls. At the summit, the road reaches one of China's most famous natural landmarks, Tianmen Cave, a massive opening carved through the mountain itself. From below, the entire route looks less like a highway and more like a staircase rising into the sky. From towering bridges above deep canyons to narrow roads carved into unforgiving mountains, these places remind us how far people are willing to go to cross the most difficult landscapes on Earth. Each turn, each step, and each crossing reveals a world where nature sets the rules. And courage makes the journey possible. Our next episode is coming soon, and the places waiting ahead are even more incredible. We look forward to welcoming you again on Untamed Globe.